Please don't share any personal information for your safety and the safety of others. Always remember to keep your behavior, language, and webcam school appropriate and respectful at all times. Know that your participation is so important in this class. I can't stress that enough. The more you participate, the more you engage, the better this class is for everybody. And it just makes it better for everybody. So I really appreciate it when you participate and you engage. And then know that always these Class Connect sessions are recorded and distributed for learning sessions. Okay, there it is. Look at that. I've got my pictures upside down again. I don't know what is going on. Hello, Cyrus. So glad you could join us. Hello, hello. So glad you could come. Again, my name is Mrs. Gallagher. I apologize for my voice. It is going out. It doesn't hurt. I don't know what's going on, but I do apologize for the sound. Jonathan, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us. So I am all things science. I love science. But my goal for this summer is to help you get credit for our class, animal or the physical science with the emphasis on chemistry. That is what we are really, really focusing on this summer. Okay. Hello, Ava. So glad to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hello, hello. So you can see that today is day 2 of our 24 days together. Our summer is really, really condensed. We only have 5 weeks to cover all of this material. And so it's super, super fast paced. But what I've done when I've condensed this class is I've designed it so that everything that we do is in class together. So if you come to class, if you participate in class, you will pass the class and you will earn your high school credit for this class. And it will go towards your graduation credits, right? So it is very, very fast paced. Notice that tomorrow, which is June 25th, we have our first exam. Now, it's not a hard exam. There's only 10 questions on it, and it's very short. And we're going to do it together in class. So make sure you're here tomorrow so you can ace this exam, okay? Our class always meets from 12:30 to 2 p.m. every day, okay? Now, I want to, again, share our my screen with you, and I want to show you a little bit more about our new form that we have, right? So right now you can see I'm on the dashboard, okay? And all my classes are listed right here, okay? You too have a dashboard. Notice over here on the right is just, it tells you what's coming up. And it gives you quick links to different things that are coming up for with whatever courses you are teaching or not teaching that you're taking. If it has a little calendar next to it, you know that this link is going to take me to the calendar. If it has a rocket next to it or a sheet of paper, that is going to be an assignment that is due, okay? So this is an assignment that is due for this class that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Now, what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to go not to our class. I'm going to go to my chemistry class here for just a minute, and I'm going to view it as a student because I want to show you something, okay? So this is my chemistry class, but it's set up just like our class is. And right now I'm on the home page, and notice that there is a course link right here to Engagely. I can't do this from the class that we're in right now because we are in Engagely. But my chemistry class, okay, my chemistry class is, okay, why did it just do that? Let me share my screen. There we go. Okay. So when I go to my chemistry class, okay, and I click on the Engagely link, okay, well, it's not going to let me go to Engagely because I'm already in Engagely. So I apologize. Oh, no, I know why. It's because I'm in student view. I'm in student view. That's why it's doing that. Okay. Here we go. I have to go in as a teacher, then it'll let me do it. Okay. So if you go and click on that Engagely link when we're not in class, if you click right here on the playback room, okay, it will take you to the playback room, and then you can click right here and it says start my playback room. And when I go into my playback room, okay, you can see that my recordings are right here on the right, okay? So the same link that you use to gain access to our class is the same link you're going to use to get to your playback room. So that is a little bit different than what we had last trimester, okay? So again, I'm going to view it as a student. I'm back in our class, and this link right here will work to take you to class as well as take you to the playback room, both ways, okay? Now, also, I want to show you here, I want to show you the grades tab, okay? So if I click on the grades tab right here, it comes to this page, and you can see right here, it would have my grade right here for the class. And then right here is all the assignments, and it will tell me if it's missing, if it's late, or if I submitted it, it will have my score that I got for it. And you can click on this assignment and it will have comments right here, okay? If I sent you a comment from the your assignment, okay? So that is one way you can see your grades. You can see my teacher feedback, and you can see right off the bat what you need to make up, or if you want to redo an assignment, you can do that, okay? Now, if I click on modules, okay, modules is sort of like units, and you can see that this is one unit. It says welcome to Science 102A, and it's got the syllabus, it's got the pacing guide, my contact information, all these different things that you can look through at your own time. But they also have the units, and each unit, it has the notes that goes in the unit and the PowerPoints. So this is another place you can access your assignments if you want to. I still think clicking on announcements and going to the week that you want to find, this is the best place to find your assignments. Okay. So right now, what I'd like everybody to do is go to your announcements and go ahead and open up today's notes. It should say notes 1B scientific method. Okay. Go ahead and go to that information. Okay. And click and open up your notes for today. Once you get that opened, you're going to click on take the quiz, right? And so as of right now, okay, we did the notes 1A yesterday. And today we're going to do 1B, okay? Remember, on every assignment, you have the ability to do 3 attempts per assignment. So if you don't like your grade, you can redo it and fix the problems that you got wrong, okay? And there is never any late penalties to turn in assignments, okay? Okay, so we have our notes 1B scientific method and design open. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking the Unit 1 exam. Our objectives for today is to explain the basic steps of the scientific method, talk about observations, questions, hypothesis, the different types of variables, the different type of groups like control groups versus experimental groups, different types of data, and how we plot that data. So let me know by activation tag that you are ready to get started on our notes, okay? Click on that activation tag and let me know that you are ready. Thank you, Emiliana and Dahlia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kayla, Olin, Thomas, thank you. Vanessa, Scarlett, Santiago, Nick, Jonathan, Jesus, Cyrus, Ava, Olivia, Bobby. Click on that activation tag. Let me know when you are ready, and then we'll get started. Notice that question number 1, all you have to do is click OK. And again, this is just confirmation that you understand that in this class, we only have notes and exams. So that's 100% of your grade, okay? Olivia, Ava, Cyrus, Bobby, Jesus, Jonathan, you guys ready? Santiago and Scarlett, let me know. Are you ready? Thank you, Vanessa. Perfect. Okay, let's do this, okay? So scientific method, you guys have probably had this ad oblivion in middle school, right? We know that the scientific method, you start off looking at finding an observation, making an observation. And based off that observation, then you ask a question, I wonder what happens if, and then you come up with a prediction, an educated guess, and that is our hypothesis. Okay. Typically, I word that as a, if this, then this is going to happen. Okay. Then I'm going to conduct some sort of an experiment. I'm going to gather data, and then I'm going to take that data. I'm going to plot it. I'm going to use graphs to analyze the data. And then I'm going to make some sort of conclusion. And that conclusion is either going to prove and support my hypothesis, or it's going to refute my hypothesis, and I'm going to have to make a new hypothesis and redo an experiment, right? So again, I'm pretty sure that you guys have done this a lot, talked about the scientific method a lot in middle school. So here we've got observation, question, and hypothesis, right? And on the right, I've got 3 different scenarios. So let's grab a pen, grab a marker, or a highlighter. Okay, and match the terms on the left, observation, question, and hypothesis, to the scenario on the right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. So an observation would be, for example, I feel more focused and energetic when I get up and jog in place for a minute. That would be an observation based on how I feel, right? So now, what about the next 2 terms? I would like you to grab a tool, an annotation tool, and go ahead and match which one of those is the question and which one of those is a hypothesis. Okay. Exactly. Good job. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. The hypothesis is, if a person jogs in place for a minute, then they're going to have a higher test score. Notice that that hypothesis took my observation and put it in light of some sort of thing that I could test, right? So instead of just looking at how energetic I am, I'm going to tie it to a test score, right? So that's something I can actually test in an experiment. And then a question, right? Does exercise make your brain work better? Exactly. I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this is question number 2 on your note. Go ahead and make sure that you've got those correct. Okay. And then click that activation tag for me and let me know that you're done and ready to go on to question number 3. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Emiliano, thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Olin and Nick. Dahlia, thank you. I love that. Olivia, Ava, Cyrus, Bobby, Jesus, Jonathan, Santiago, Thomas, and Scarlett. Let me know. Are you good? Are you ready? Ready, ready, ready? Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Okay, so question number 3 is the same, but this time I want you to do it on your own. Okay, so question number 3, match the vocabulary terms observation, question, and hypothesis to these scenarios. Okay, and then when you are done in your notes, matching those vocabulary terms to the correct scenario, then re-click on this activation tag and let me know you're ready for question number 4. Okay. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you, Olin. I love it. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Emiliano and Kayla. Vanessa, you doing okay? Dahlia, Ava, Cyrus, Bobby, Jesus, Jonathan, Thomas, Santiago, Scarlett. Ready, ready, ready? Fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Okay, so again, scientific method, the general work through, you're very familiar with, I'm sure. Now let's talk a little bit about these variables that we have in an experiment. Okay, these variables, there's 3 different types of variables. Okay, the independent variable is what I am going to change on purpose. Okay, the dependent variable is what I'm going to measure. Okay, so the independent is what I'm testing, and the dependent variable is what I'm measuring. The constants are the things that I'm going to keep the same in all of my groups. Okay, so for example, if I was going to measure the height of the plant and how it grew based on how much water I gave it. The water, the amount of water would be the independent variable. I many times write IV for independent variable. The dependent variable, the DV, is what I'm measuring, right? So I'm going to measure the height of the plant. The controlled variables would be the things like the type of soil, the pot size, the fertilizer, all the things that I keep the same between all my groups. Okay. So again, in this example with sunlight, okay, if I'm looking at sunlight and the height of plants, right? Again, height is what I measure, and that is going to be my dependent variable. That tells me that the hours of sunlight is my independent variable. And then the constants, again, are all the things I'm going to keep the same, like the soil, the fertilizer, the same ruler, same location, same amount of light. All of those things would be the constants. Okay. So here are our new vocabulary words. Okay. And again, you might have had these in middle school. Independent variable, dependent variable, and the constants. Go ahead and grab a pen, grab a marker, grab a highlighter, and let's match up these terms to the correct definition for me. Okay. Which one of those is the result that you measure or gather at the end? Do you remember which one you measure? Is that the independent or the dependent variable? Constants are the things that are kept the same. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Okay. Remember that the independent variable is what I'm going to test, right? The deep, yeah. And so that's what I'm going to change on purpose at the start. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Thomas, this is question number 4. Yeah. So the dependent variable is what I'm going to measure, right? This is what I'm going to measure. Exactly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So this is question number 4. Okay, question number 4. I'm going to go ahead and give you 30 seconds. And thank whoever did that. I'm not going to call you out. I don't want you to feel um, embarrassed, but I appreciate you for participating so much. So much. Okay. I do. So this is question number 4. Go ahead and match your terms to the correct definition. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Awesome. Okay. So with that one, okay, let's look at these examples. Okay. This time, okay, I'm going to have you tell me in the chat box. Okay. So scenario number 1, I've got an experiment. And this is experiment number 1. I have 5 groups of potted basil that are watered with different amounts of water. I have no water, 50 mils of water, 100 mils of water, 150 mils, and 200 mils of water. The number of leaves are counted at the end of each month. Okay. So my job is to figure out what all of these different types of variables are. So remember that the dependent variable is what I measure. And for me, it's always easiest to decide what I'm measuring first. Okay. So tell me in the chat box, what is being measured? Am I measuring the different amounts of water, or am I measuring the number of leaves at the end of the month? What am I doing? What data am I collecting? Tell me in the chat box. Absolutely. Yes. It is the number of leaves, right? The number of leaves. That's what I'm counting. So that's what I'm measuring. That means that the independent variable, right, is this right here. It's the amount of water that's being changed. Okay. So the amount of water. Okay. That is my independent variables. My constants are the things that stay the same. These are things that aren't always going to be listed over there. So it might be like the size of the pots. They all have to have the same size pots. It might be the type of soil, the amount of light, okay, the type of fertilizer that I use. All of these things, how do you spell fertilizer? There you go. The type of fertilizer I use. The constants aren't going to be described in the scenario. These are just things that I know I have to keep the same in all my different groups. Okay. So now let's look at scenario number 2. Here, a student wants to find out what kind of fish food is the most nutritious. 4 groups of fish get different foods. There's regular flakes, there's pellets, freeze-dried shrimp, bloodworms. Okay, those are the different types of food there is. Their weight is measured daily. Okay, so right off the bat, If it says it's measured daily, what type of variable is that? Is that my independent or my dependent variable? Tell me in the chat box. If it's being measured, thank you. Absolutely, yes. That is my dependent variable, right? So the weight of the fish is my dependent variable. And that means that the 4 groups of fish food, the types of fish food, is my independent variable, right? Okay. I know my constants are not going to be labeled. Okay. So this is your answer for question number 5. Question number 5. Okay. Let me know when you get done by clicking on that activation link. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Olivia and Bobby, Dahlia. Thank you, Nick, Kayla, Olin. I appreciate you. Santiago, Scarlett, Thomas, Vanessa. You guys good? Jesus, Jonathan, Emiliano, Cyrus, and Ava. Doing good? Okay. Remember, I promised you, if you hang with me, we're going to do this work together in class, and you will pass this class, right? You just got to hang tough for this 90 minutes while we go through this. Okay. Now, question number 6. We have a new experiment, and this time you have to complete it on your own and figure out which one is what. We have 4 groups of corn. Each group is given a different type of fertilizer. We have fish emulsion, worm castings, cow manure, and no fertilizer. The height of the corn is measured each week. Okay. So again, look at that last sentence. It tells you the height of the corn is measured. Okay. So is that the independent or dependent variable? Right? Okay. Then you remember the constants are not going to be given in the scenario, right? So if you see an example of something that's not in the word problem, that's going to be a constant. Okay. Click on this activation tag. Let me know when you are done. Okay. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Emiliano. Thank you, Bobby. Okay. Olivia, Dahlia. How's it going? Kayla, Olin, Scarlett, Vanessa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect. Okay. Now, I told you this was a question for you to do on your own, right? Okay. But I want you to check your answers. I'm giving you the answers here. Double check and make sure that you got it right. The dependent variable, the thing that they are measuring, is the height of the corn. The independent variable is the other things that where they group the corn, the types of fertilizer, right? Everything that's not listed in the scenario, those were the constants: the type of soil, the amount of water, the amount of sunlight. All of those things were the constants. Okay. So I'm going to give you another, 20 seconds. And then we're going to go on to question number 7. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Did it on your own, but then we double checked our answers, right? Okay. Now, when you think about doing an experiment, right? Um, we want to make sure that you don't test more than one thing at a time, right? So, like if I want to test how far paper airplanes fly, I want to test like maybe different types of paper, or I want to test different folds of an airplane. But I don't want to change paper and the different types of fold at the same time, because then I'm not going to know which one really made the difference. Okay. And that is where our experimental groups and our control groups come into play. Okay. Anytime I do an experiment, I need to have a control group that I'm going to compare with. Okay. So this is the group where the independent variable is kept normal or 0. Okay. For example, this is if I'm testing the amount of fertilizer, the different types of fertilizer in a plant. My control group would be one that had no fertilizer used. Okay. So that would be 0. And then I could compare that to the different types of fertilizer that I use. And those different types of fertilizer would be my experimental groups. Okay. So these are the answers to questions 7 and 8. Questions 7 and 8. Remember that capitalization doesn't matter, but spelling does. So you need to make sure your spelling is correct, right? Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Olin. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you. Olivia, Ava, Emiliano, Dalia, Jesus, Jonathan, Nick, Santiago, Thomas, Scarlett, Vanessa. Let me know when you're done with questions 7 and 8. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Cyrus, you good? Nick? Yeah, thank you, Vanessa. Okay, good, good, good. Here we go. So here I've got, again, same scenarios that we used when we were talking about independent and dependent variables. Remember in scenario 1, I've got 5 groups of potted basil, right? Each one of them are watered with different amounts of water, right? And that is my independent variable, is the different amounts of water. The dependent variable is the number of leaves that I counted at the end of every month. Now, I need to figure out which one is my control group. Okay. Remember that my control group is the one that is 0 or normal or sort of the baseline. So, which one of these is either normal or 0, right? Tell me in the chat box. What do you think? Which one of those groups would be the control group? Okay. That is 0 normal, or baseline? Yeah, exactly. It's the group with no water, right? No water is sort of the same thing as 0, okay? That means my experimental groups are these ones, okay? The 50 milliliters, 100 milliliters, 150, and 200 milliliters. Those are the different amounts of water that I'm giving, okay? That's what I'm testing, okay? Okay, let's look at scenario number 2. This is with the fish food, right? We said that the different kinds of fish food is my independent variable that I'm testing. I know that the dependent variable that I'm measuring is the weight. So now I need to decide of these different groups, which one is the control? Which one am I going to compare the others to? It's going to be 0 or sort of the normal, the baseline. Which one of these groups would you consider to be normal? Okay, look at the words. Here I've got regular flakes, pellets, shrimp, and bloodworms. Which one of those would you consider normal? Okay. I would consider these the normal because the word regular, right? That means that these are my experimental groups. These are the ones I want to test. Okay. So this is question number 9. Question number, again, click on that activation link and let me know when you are ready. Okie dokie, guys. Thank you, Vanessa, Scarlett, Olin, Nick, Kayla. Thank you, Olivia, Bobby, Talia, and Emiliano. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so here we go. Here's another one I want you to complete on your own. We have those 4 groups of corn again, okay? This time, I need to decide which one is my control group. Which one am I going to compare the others to? Okay. So remember that I'm testing different types of fertilizer, right? So which one would be the control group? Is it the fish emulsion, the worm castings, the cow manure compost, or no fertilizer? Which one of those is the correct control group that I'm going to compare the others to? Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Aaliyah. Olivia, Bobby, Cyrus, Dahlia. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Emiliano, Nick, Olin, Scarlett, Vanessa, Kayla. Are you good? Are you ready? Nick, you are 100% correct. Absolutely. Good job. You're on fire. Perfect. Okay. So now let's talk about the data that we collect. Remember, this is what we measure. These are the dependent variables, right? So when we collect data, we collect one of two types. We collect either quantitative data that is numeric. Okay, I'm going to get numbers. So if I'm measuring something or I'm counting something, that is quantitative. Okay, or it's going to be qualitative. Qualitative is something that's not going to be expressed by a number. Okay, so it might be a yes no question. It could be a question like, is the cat's fur smooth or rough? Okay. It's not going to have a number with it. Okay. Okay. Olivia, Bobby, Dahlia, Cyrus, Emiliano, how's it going? Thomas, Vanessa, you good? Ready, ready, ready? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. So remember, quantitative is numbers, right? I like to think quantitative as quantity. Okay. I know a quantity is a number. Okay. Qualitative is not going to be a number. Okay. It's going to be a characteristic of some sort. So, with that, okay, if I were to look at this different types of data, like are all dogs black or and white? Okay, like this picture of this dog right here, are all dogs black and white? My answer would be yes or no, right? And that's not a number. So that would be qualitative. Okay. How many people can fit in a car? Obviously, I would count that. That would be a quantity, right? How much does a new baby weigh? How much? Again, quantitative. That's going to give me a definitive um, mass, right? And then, does the donut taste nasty or sweet? Right? Nasty or sweet is not a number. So that is going to be qualitative, right? Easy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. So question 13, okay, is complete on your own. Which one of those on the right, are they quantitative or are they qualitative data? If it's quantitative, you're going to end up with numbers, right? If the answer is something other than a number, then you know it's qualitative. So if you're going to get a number, right? If you're measuring something you can count, or you're measuring something with a ruler that you end up with numbers, that's quantitative. If it's something other than a number, it is qualitative. It's a quality. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good job. Okie dokie panuki. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Olivia and Talia and Emiliano. Thank you, Nick and Thomas, Scarlett, Olin, Kayla. Thank you. Vanessa Santiago, you good? Bobby, doing okay? Yeah? Ready, ready, ready? Perfect. Okay. Now, when we graph something, okay, we're almost done. We're on the last topic here. When we graph something, right, I know that I use points and that the X comes first and then the Y, right? So if I wanted to graph the point 3.7, I would do the X axis first and go to the 3, right? And then go up to the 7. And that's my the 0.37, right? So 6.5, again, I come over here to the 6 first and then to the 5, right? And then 10.2 would be right here. So always, always, X comes first and then the Y. Well, when we look at independent and dependent variables, we are looking at data that has a relationship to each other. And the independent variable in a table is going to be on the left side because this is going to be my x-axis. The dependent variable, what I measure goes on the right side because that is my y-axis of my graph, okay? So always, 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 that's how that works, okay? Right there. So again, independent variables, the independent variable is plotted on the x-axis and the dependent variable is plotted on the y-axis. And it shows this relationship, okay? And this is the answer to question number 4. Question number 4. Joaquin, hello. How are you? I'm so glad that you are here. We are almost finished. Okay. So hang with us, and then I'm going to chat with you at the end. Okay. Joaquin, sounds like a plan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Question 14. Thank you, Olivia and Talia. Thank you, Kayla and Olin. I appreciate you guys. Okay. So again, this is question 14. Vanessa, you good? Ready, ready? Emiliano, you ready? Yeah. Okay. So when we look at a graph, right? And I have to, if I had to graph this, I know that hours of sunlight, okay, this is going to be my independent variable, and the height of the plants is my dependent variable. And I know that because hours of sunlight are on the left and the of my table, and the height of the plant is on the right. So when I make my X and Y axis labels, I would write hours of sunlight on the X axis, and then height of plant on the Y axis. And I knew that just from looking at the table. Okay. And that's why it's really, really handy to know how that works. Okay. So there's two main types of data graphs that we use. Okay. The first type is a scatter plot. A scatter plot is going to show a relationship between two sets of numerical data. So that means that my independent variable and my dependent variable are both quantitative data. Okay. So on question 15, make sure you spell numerical correctly. Okay. And then question 16 is a bar graph. Okay. And with a bar graph, one of my sets of data is going to be categorical. It's going to be a qualitative type of data that I'm looking at. Okay. So if you look at my scatter plot for question 15, right, you can see that the age of a person is my independent variable. And then my dependent variable is the number of emails that they get every single day. Now, according to this data, the younger you are, the more emails you get. And the older you are, the fewer emails you get. Okay. I don't know how many 12-year-olds really get 30 emails a day, but that's what that data just says. Okay. The bar graph that's shown has different types of movies on the x-axis. That's my independent variable. So I've got comedy, action, romance, drama, and sci-fi. The number of people that like the different genres of movie is my dependent variable. That's my quantitative data that I'm collecting, okay, that I'm measuring. So you can see most people, according to this data, like romance more than they like comedy, action, drama, or sci-fi. I kind of wonder who they asked, though. I would argue romance is probably not the favorite type of movie for most people. I don't know about you. Thank you, Emiliano. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Olin. Thank you, Vanessa. Nick, Santiago, Thomas, Scarlett. How's it going? Olivia, Bobby, Cyrus, Ava, Jesus. Ready, ready? Are you good? Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So if I were to look at this data, right, I have kind of flower, rose, tulip, lily, orchid, forget-me-nots, and I have number of flowers. This kind of flower is qualitative data, right? And if it's qualitative, I know I'm going to have to use a bar graph, okay? But look at this data. I have on both my independent and my dependent variable, both of them are quantitative. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. Sorry, guys. Okay, if both of them are numbers, then I'm going to use a scatter plot. Then I would use a scatter plot. Okay, so these are the answers for questions 17 to 18. Thank you, Talia. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Olin. Olivia, Emiliano, you good? Let me know. Nick, you okay? Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, one last question, and this one is complete on your own. What type of graph would you use for this data? Look at the table. You have different types of animals. That is qualitative, right? Those are qualitative data. You've got categories there, right? And then you've got the number of students that like each type of table. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, guys. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, so we made it through all of our objectives. We talked about the scientific method. We talked about independent and dependent variables. control groups, experimental groups, and different types of data. If you are feeling okay, if you're feeling pretty good, you are free to go. Okay. If you want to hang back and chat, if you have questions, if you are feeling confused, stay. Okay. And we can work through it. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye, Olivia. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. You betcha, Scarlett. Yes. Bye, Nick. Have a great day. Okay. Whoops. That's okay. So, question number 3, Scarlett, is complete on your own. Okay. So, that one you're going to have to do on your own. Okay. But if you look at question 2, it's going to help you. Okay. And then question 4. Here's question 4. Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you're done, Scarlett. Kayla, that's a fabulous question. I do not know. This new platform, I tried to set it up so that you only have to redo the ones that you got wrong. But I don't know. Here's what I want you to do. Redo it and let me know. It will keep the highest score. Okay. So even if it makes you redo all of them, it will give you the highest score, whichever one you do. But I would love to know the answer to that one. It makes you redo them all, Scarlett. Oh, that makes me sad. Oh my gosh. Okay, I am going to try and get that fixed. Okay. I'll try and get that fixed. Thank you guys. Thank you for letting me know. All of this is sort of, you guys are our guinea pigs. So you got to let me know how I can make it better. Okay. Thank you. Bye, Ava, Bobby, Cyrus, Jesus, Santiago. Let me know if you have any questions.